All right, so today's video is going to address a question I've gotten quite a lot, and so have a lot of us, which is how to get the beta cape. And I realized that this was a little unfair to title the video this, because the answer I'm going to give is you can't get the beta cape. The beta cape was a quote reward for beta testers who were in the beta prior to global launch. So mostly it was a reward for those of us who were in the beta for a period of time before the game was launched globally, which meant that we were the ones helping to catch the bugs, report the bugs, and help with the general creating of the game from a player perspective. So it was a reward for those of us who were in the beta prior to global launch. If you join the beta now, you will not get the beta cape. You will never get the beta cape. Now, all hope is not lost. This is the beta cape. As you can see, it's got a lovely little white lining on the blue. Okay, it is pretty. Now, what the beta cape gives you is access really only to the special area of Vault. So if we go up here, I can now get into Vault. And obviously this is going to be a green barrier for those who don't have the beta cape or an alternative. And of course you can always find a friend who has the beta cape, make a friend who has the beta cape to get in here. But it lets you through that barrier and then lets you into this area here. So once you're here, you can go to the shop. Click on your shop, and here you will have the option to buy a Founders Pack. This Founders Pack is $30. It includes 115 candles. Now, if you do the math, just for the candles, if you're going to buy a pack of candles, that comes out to less per candle than any other pack of candles there is in the shop right now. So it's really a pretty good price for the candles, and you get the cape. The cape that you get is the same color on the outside, but it is lined with black. So the beta cape has the white lining. The Founder's cape has a black lining. So if you look at them together, you can see that's really the only difference. The fact that the Founder's cape has the black lining and the beta cape has the white lining. Other than that, they're the same color on the outside. Now, the Founder's cape also will let you in the office area we were just in so that you can get in there on your own. Like I said, the candle pack does make it worth it if you can buy candles, if you're going to buy candles. So it's up to you whether you want to do that, but it is the way to get into the office yourself and have the cape that is the color on the outside, at least, of the beta cape. That is the only way you can get even close today to having the beta cape. On the subject of the beta, though, I also get the question of how to join the beta. I think a lot of people are wanting to join the beta thinking they're going to get the beta cape, which they are not. However, if you are interested in joining the beta, That Game Company opens the beta to new people periodically. There's no set schedule. Just every once in a while they say, hey, we're inviting new beta testers. The best way to keep in touch with that is on pretty much any of the Sky-related Discords, including mine, because somebody from the official will come and say, hey, beta is opening again. The best way, and most direct way, is to be on either the beta Facebook page or the official Sky Discord. There are links to both of those on the wiki, which I will link to in the description below. So that is the best way to try to get in the beta. Right now it is full. Beta is also on Android. It is full. For the Android version, You can both join the official Sky Discord or you can also sign up for the newsletter on That Game Company's website, which I will also link to in the description below. And people have asked, why is there still a beta? Well, there's still a beta because That Game Company is still creating content for this game. They're creating every season, and there's still a lot of bugs to work out. So even on iOS, there is still a beta. And in there, once a season starts, there's very little really difference between the two. But there are little things that TGC is testing out in the beta, like a friendship meter kind of saying, how friendly are you? Things like that, just little cosmetic things or tweaks to the gameplay, things like that. They also do test the bug fixes, because sometimes the bug fixes create a whole slew of new bugs. So there is still a reason for it. Mostly, though, it's the new seasons that are tested in the beta. So every new season comes out to the beta about 2 weeks before the season goes live. That's generally how it's been happening. And things are just tested out, and the tweaks are fixed. You know, the bugs are fixed. Like, I'll just give you an example. In the season of Light Seekers, it began with one of the umbrellas being put in the whale call emote in Forest. I'm not exactly sure what prompted them to change that, but they decided that was not a good idea somehow, and they changed it. They put it to the seasonal emote in Forest so that all new cosmetics were in the season, and then they made the ultimate gift that big umbrella. And I think the reason might have been because there was a little bit of lack of enthusiasm about that mask being the final reward. Now, most people would have liked the mask too, but yeah, in general, people were kind of lukewarm about the mask being the final reward for the season. In the winter season that never came to the global live version, they changed the entire layout of the season before it was released to the limited live version. And then in Season of Gratitude, they also made some changes to which spirits had what. In fact, the Season of Gratitude changed completely between one beta version and another. So they definitely work some kinks out every single time they do a season. So that's what you'll see in the beta. So if you want to join the beta, definitely get on the official Discord or the beta Facebook page. But just don't think you're going to get the beta cape out of being in the beta now, because you won't. And nothing, absolutely nothing, transfers between the two. It's a completely different game. The beta is through another app. The live version is a direct download from the App Store. So there is no linking between the two. You start brand new in the beta, and nothing that you acquire in the beta gets transferred to live. Everything in the beta is free. Even if it looks like it costs money, you will not spend any money in the beta, which of course is why you will not transfer it to the full version either. But absolutely nothing transfers. You start out fresh on both. They're completely separate.